Well, hi there. Thanks for buying the custom Gold Shark ball mill. I'm going to start here with showing you how to put the motor on. It comes outside of the rails that it mounts to. So we want to take the motor, get it kind of set up here so it'll slide on, just like that. Slide that baby on like that. I like to get it as far forward as you can and pull it back. Grab these nuts and tighten them up, opposing each other. Once I get one or two bolts fairly tight, I like to make sure to pull this thing back so that the belt is fairly tight by hand. It would probably be easier if you had someone to help you. So someone push on this a little bit while you make sure you tighten all four of these up. Also, make sure your alignment, your belts are always right on, as best as you can get them. It's very important to eventually, or whenever, well, before you even run this thing, I would make a cage protecting fingers, hands, children's hands from getting in here, because if you get a finger in there, that's it. So also make sure that this one over here is, this belt between the mill and the gear head, gear reducer, is straight, and you can adjust that all with Allen wrenches. All right, so taking the front off to load it with balls and ore, first thing you want to do is get your jack jacked up so it's tight against the barrel. For some reason the camera isn't focusing. So as you can see, the wheel's back there. Okay, and your standard socket attachment just straight in there. That's a 1/2 inch, and you want to jack it up so that the wheels are tight, and lift the barrel just a tad. That lifts up this right here, so then you can pull this off. Undo this head screw here just a little bit. You want to tighten it when you're ready to put the balls in, but we'll get to that in a second. So unloosen a little bit and grab this baby right here, your handle, and you should be able to pull it just straight off with one hand. And it's being supported by the jack and wheels. And right now I have all the screw heads off, so I could just quickly take it off and on to show. But you want to have all those hex heads all in, and you want your white lines to match up. There's also some welded. Okay, make sure that these lines are matched up. Okay, there's also a gasket in here that has a marker too. So all three, when you put your hex head bolts on, these need to be matched up. There's also welded chunks to feel if these white strips get worn off. Okay, make sure to hold this when you're taking this last one off. And that was really hot, so you might need a glove if you're in the heat. Here's the marker for white, black, onto white. Okay. Now, I recommend rotating this so that this thin edge, not the cut edge, is at the bottom for loading your ore and your balls. Start with the balls. This thing can be really loud, so you want to make sure that. Let me get a glove here. Like I was saying, it can be pretty loud depending on your configuration, how many balls you use, what RPMs you might run it at. You could slow it down by changing the wheel sizes. Generally, you want your rock screened to about 1/2 inch. So you have your primary crusher, which would usually be your small ball jaw mill or whatever else. Then you'd feed that into here after that's crushed to 1/2 inch. All right, we'll get it going. Alright, once you get that bolted down, just like you would with the car lug nut system, slide your last bearing on, make sure it's centered. Might need to drop down the wheels a little bit so it slides in easy, or the other way. Looks like it needs to be jacked up a little bit. So these blocks stop and then tighten it. Hold it in place. And then you're pretty much good to go. Have your earplugs on or have it in an area where it's not going to make too much noise that'll freak the neighbors out. Oh, forgot one thing. Drop your wheels down. Your jack. I mean, it can turn on the wheels, but you don't really want that. You want the force to be on the bearings, which need to be greased occasionally. And then plug it in. The less rock and balls you have in there changes the consistency and time. Alright, so I ran it for about 5 minutes just to give you a demonstration. Probably won't be too well ground up, but ball mills do a pretty good job at making a fine mesh. You can do your research on it, but I've heard up to 400 mesh. So anyway, we may not see much of that, but here's how you do this. You jack it up again. Make sure it's unplugged. Nice thing about this is you can just switch on and off and jack it back up and down pretty easily. All right, undo your handle. Pretty easy. Shake it a little bit. It should slide right out if it's jacked up enough. Just like that. So once again, you want your so it doesn't all come out. Remember, you want the arrow kind of pointing this way, and have your gloves on. This is the benefit of having the jack on wheels, is you can turn it after it's off the bearing. Okay. I like to leave the top one on so it hangs, and then I can do the last one by holding this and then doing that. I'll include this in the kit. Allen wrench. You notice there was hardly any dust that came out. That's the advantage of the seal. So this is where your dust is going to come out. Hold on a second. And I recommend having a mask on for this part, because there will be dust. And action speaks louder than words, so we'll wear a nasty old mask here. Actually, it looks like it ground quite a bit up pretty good. I recommend cleaning it up real good so you don't contaminate your samples. Shake this. Take the classifier. And then you can rerun all this. And I would recommend getting a bucket and rerunning this too, but boy, it crushed a lot to a real fine powder here. So I hope you enjoy it. Here's your stuff you can rerun. And if you really enjoyed this machine, it's probably had about 8 hours of life on it. I'll dearly miss it. Originally we thought we were going to hook it up to a bicycle. That would have been funny. So I'm glad we didn't do that, but I'm going to miss it. It grinds real fine. It's not as fast as other crushing machines, but sure is fun to run and grinds a real fine mash. Maybe I'll do some panning of this and see if we get anything, and if we find any gold, I'll post that too. Enjoy.